Trumper Sophia Hutchins implies Black people are not bright. You just look at this.
Just because you're Black, you're not a DEI hire, or if you don't bring value. But a lot of these people, you can see, they're not the sharpest knives in the drawer. I just want to make clear, not all Black people are DEI hires, or minorities are DEI hires.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
Well, I can't. She kept looking off and losing her train of thought, but then I do that too. And the Sharon reading is stupid, okay? Sometimes I'm tired. I lose my train of thought, but I'm not stupid. And I don't know why this woman, Trumper Sophia Hutchins, is implying that Black people, well, she said it, aren't the sharpest knives in the drawer. And I know you are, but what am I? Her Midas touch, Trump 2024 surrogate. Look at who your surrogate is now. Are you proud? He looks proud. Sophia Hutchins, frequent guest at Trump Properties fundraising bundler, log cabin Republicans board member, and Caitlyn Jenner's manager. Recently attacked Black people in an Instagram live, claiming that a lot of these people aren't smart. Ugh. Okay. There I go sighing again, just like our powerful TYT member said I do. I'm very dramatic. I think they were implying, they said it in a nice way. I can't help it when you put this in my face. Can we put the picture back up? Want to be, Gwyneth Paltrow. You're not. You're Sophia Hutchins. Hutchins would give Ben Carson as an example of an acceptable non-D. I'm going to try to get through it, Rose. Because we're just telling you what she said. You're going to raise Ben Carson. They came in chains, Ben. The slaves did not migrate here purposefully. They came in chains, Ben. That guy. He said some other stuff too. At one point, what was he? He's a surgeon. A very successful surgeon. And they started buying curtains and things. And he's an appointee and just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So she points to Ben as an acceptable non-DEI Black, but her comments come as Trump attempts to attract Black voters in his desperate attempt to regain power after his defeat to President Joe Biden. You think Ben's going to get your votes? Or maybe Tim Scott? They're roasting him on Black Twitter. Who's the guy on Fat Albert's gang? Is it Mushmouth? I'm not calling him this. I'm telling you, there's a picture. Google it. And they have a side-by-side of Tim Scott. I don't know if he was wearing the hat, like Mushmouth. Is that it? I'll ask the team. That's it. You remember how Mushmouth looked, and then he would wear that hat. And Tim Scott had one on. Again, that could be AI or something, but the resemblance was there. They're roasting him on Twitter. So who else is an acceptable Black? I don't know if Ben Carson's enough to get the vote out. Hutchins also attacked Trump's Black prosecutors, Alvin Bragg, Bonnie Willis, Letitia James. Okay, so their record, they got 2 out of 3. He got, his pockets are lighter, and he's a convicted felon. He's going to be sentenced soon. But she called these 3 DEI, despite all 3 of them being qualified elected officials. Hutchins called Bragg a, quote, fat slob DEI product of Harvard. He looks fine to me. And when you're putting in these long hours and having to deal with all these lies as you prosecute a case, he looks fine in the picture to me. I don't know why she's saying these things. But let's go to this other video of Sophia Hutchins attacking elected officials and let you hear it for yourself.
Because fat slob Alvin Bragg couldn't prosecute a case if he wanted to, because he's such a fat slob DEI product of Harvard. So I'm furious as an American. Thoughts on Bonnie, not Fannie, Bonnie Willis. Again, another DEI elected Democrat prosecutor. So my thoughts on Bonnie are no different than my thoughts on Alvin Bragg. DEI elected individuals that got into school, like Letitia James, similar as well. She's an AG, not a DA.
She's also, she keeps mentioning Harvard. And I think, we got to get into that at some point, because Harvard, I don't know if they're known as the best and brightest. You have, on the one hand, Barack Obama, but you also have Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz. I don't know if they're turning out other people who are calorie challenged or not. That's her words. Maybe she needs a sandwich. Who's to say who's needs to, drop a few? Racists, of course, Midas touch notes, have adopted DEI as pretty much a slur these days, often employing it against Black people they dislike. Trump hasn't confronted the racist attacks from Charlie Kirk involving DEI or his attacks on MLK and anti-segregation legislation, but continues to speak at his events. Trump continues to surround himself with those comfortable with publicly attacking Black people. Where do we start with this? Who is she, Woes, I asked rhetorically, to decide who's smart, who's a DE? She's not even right, okay? The people, the three prosecutors of color who right now are batting pretty good odds that when they set out to do something, they do it. I know Fonnie's been sidelined a little bit with a bunch of nonsense, but they're winning. And they're not DEI hires, as you mentioned, duly elected.
That's
okay?
That's
so what
the
are you
part.
talking about? Who's the dumb one?
That's the part. How can you be DEI if a constituency went out and voted for you? That's the opposite of DEI. That's the opposite of being chosen for your race or gender or religion or whatever. Like literally, they went out and earned the votes and the trust of the voters, and they're going out and doing what they believe is what their constituencies put them up on their perch to do. So, I mean, that's a one. This Hutchins lady, I guess the credential was working with the log cabin Republicans, which I didn't even realize was still a thing. I didn't know that people like outwardly pointed out to the fact that they were gay and also Republican anymore. I didn't even think. I thought people were just like, yeah, just like, all right, yeah, I'm Republican, but like, let's just sweep that under the rug. I didn't even realize that was something people were still doing. But the way that she was talking, she's meandering. She seems to might be on a sedative. Like it's hard to even make out what the actual point of what she's saying is. And yeah, look, we just talked about Rudy Giuliani. Like when it comes to embarrassing Trump surrogates, like he's got no shortage of them. At this point, who's a reputable Trump surrogate at this point? Who's somebody that not even reputable, that you're just neutral about? Like, oh, it's just a guy, they're doing their job. Everybody who speaks on behalf of this guy in public seems to be some of just the craziest, most grifteriest people in and around American politics. So this lady being a complete kook and a hack while also being pretty virulently racist as well. This is just right in line with the branding of the Trump regime.
And to me, when you're this racist and clueless, and again, I had some thoughts too about what's going on with her personally. Is your blood sugar low? I tend to believe that racists are stupid. Because it goes against science that people just based on their DNA and not circumstance and put upon are less than. It's actually silly. I think maybe she and Lily could have a drink together. But to me, her statement, her affect, everything about her was representative of the lowest common denominator, the real affirmative action in America. That we can't escape this voice. I'm so smart. I have something to say, and you just must listen to me. That's how smart I am. Okay. Do you have the credentials, Miss Hutchins? We know Lily doesn't. She doesn't have a job anymore either. But there's no shortage when it comes to people like Miss Hutchins. They'll be employed forever. And Lily might actually get a call from Fox, maybe Newsmax, or one of the lower tier before she can move up to the majors. We'll see.